For free to the newsletter, or you can also read Chapter 10, The China Disaster Ahead, absolutely free there on the website, harrydent.com/Alex Jones. We appreciate him doing that for our listeners. There's also harrydentresearch.com. This is a short segment, Harry. Long segment coming up. I'd like to give the number out if it's okay with you, and let folks ask some questions at 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231 of Mr. Dent. But so you accurately, in your book 2008 or 2007, predicted what happened then. You predicted that in this graph that by 2015 or a little bit before, we'd see oil start plunging. How will that affect the economy? I want to finish up with that. And then other big shoes to drop. Where does all this go? How do people protect themselves? And then you talk about China could be the detonator. Do we see a collapse quickly, or is it slowly, or we just don't know?
Well, you know, Al, I really do think this oil price fall is the trigger. All it takes a trigger. I mean, the markets have been acting like there's no risk in the world. You got civil wars everywhere, all over the Middle East, and Russia and Ukraine, and problems in Africa, and falling commodity prices, all this sort of stuff. The markets are ignoring this. They're just thinking, well, the Fed will just bail us out, or the Fed will just print more money. And so it takes a trigger, something to get the markets to see, oh my gosh, there is risk in the world, and then the antennas go up. So I think China is the last thing to hit and the hardest. China, we don't even know bubbles. We don't even know debt compared to China. China's debt in the last 14 years has grown 9 times as fast as U.S. debt in the 14 years into our bubble peak in debt in 2008. China has moved 220 million people from rural areas to urban areas with absolutely no skills, and they're having them build stuff for nobody. They got 30% vacant condos, 30 to 40% excess capacity in cement, steel, aluminum, all the basic industry. They've got bridges to nowhere, empty malls and office buildings. This is the craziest economy ever. The greatest debt bubble, the greatest overbuilding bubble, and yet clueless economists, and I understate this, clueless economists say that this is the new state-driven model of capitalism. There is no way governments, crony capitalism from the top down can make better decisions than a bottoms-up free market system with some good rules. There's no way, and they never have. Russia proved this, but now everybody thinks China's the new model. China has created, mark my words, the greatest bubble in modern history, and there will not be a soft landing. When they finally go down, it's going to be the biggest real estate collapse, the greatest debt bubble. These 220 million people with no skills in urban areas are going to be trapped with no jobs, and they can't even go back to their farms because they paved them over with empty condos. At least they'll be able to squat in these empty condos. China is going to be the biggest disaster in history, and it's going to prove, finally, to economists who don't know better because they've never had never run a business, never had sex, don't understand consumers, anything. It's going to prove to them that capitalism works better as long as you have some good, simple rules. So I think this is going to be a useful lesson, but it's going to be painful. So I think we start this crisis because these fracking companies go under, and that kills jobs and debt defaults. And then there's another $6 trillion to emerging country companies from U.S. debt and bonds. That's going to default next, and then it just keeps going until we have another housing crisis. And another
Is that why Homeland Security is militarizing police, deploying thousands of armored vehicles, and basically, telling the military prepare for martial law? Is that they think it's going to get out of hand?
Well, if they're smart, they would. I mean, I do fear civil unrest in this country, and I can't even imagine the civil unrest when 220 million people are just basically left on the lurch. These people are not registered citizens in these cities. They're only registered in their rural areas, and like I said, most of them can't go back there. And
if China implodes, Japan's already collapsing. The West is trying to bankrupt Russia. We can't export the implosion. Won't other countries imploding only make us implode?
Yes, I mean, that's what happens. And that's what happened in the Great Depression. When things started to go down, all countries put up trade tariffs, and that just hurt world trade worse. Well, what countries are doing today, they're printing money to devalue their currency and make their exports more competitive.
Harry Dent, stay there. I want you to come back and break down how you see this coming together. I mean, your next prediction, the next big shoe to drop, and phone calls straight ahead. I'm Alex Jones, Infowars.com. Stay with us.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Every year we make resolutions to lose weight and get in shape. And the truth is, it's hard, even with diet and exercise, because of toxic food and our environment that is stressing our bodies more than ever before. Working with experts in nutrition and biochemistry, I found that super high-quality nutraceuticals, in addition to my diet and exercise, were the answers that synergistically worked. I could see the drastic changes every day with the amount of weight I've lost, my increased stamina, and more of a twinkle in my eye. That's why we are now so excited to launch the Infowars Life Resolution Pack, combining 3 essential formulations: oxygen-based cleanser Oxy Powder, the Secret 12 bioavailable vitamin B12, and your choice of super female or super male vitality. Now all available at a discounted price to you and your family to bring in the new year and make 2015 a true success. That's InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. 2015 is the year to do it, and it all starts at InfoWarsLife.com. From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. In the near future. When you realize how fake it all is, the football, the basketball.
Alert. Security alert. This is Homeland Security. Analysis. Infowars building independent media operation.
You let the worst people get controlled and tell us that we are the ones responsible.
Prime directive. Discredit Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
A popular conspiracy theory talk show called Infowars.
Alex Jones is now in an Austin jail.
These people are assaulting us.
Targeting of patriots engaged.
They are never going to stop. They're never going to deviate from their program until we stop them.
Block free iPhone app at Infowars.com. Block free podcast and video feed. Imperative. Destroy Prison Planet TV.
You gotta set your eye on the enemy, not worry about what propaganda they put out. Intellectually, it's begun. You can feel it.
Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
We're going to go back to our guest, talk about the next big events that he sees coming. He's had really great history of being extremely accurate, so I'm listening carefully. I know you are. Harry Dent's our guest. HarryDent.com/Alex Jones to find discounts on his book and a free chapter and more. And, of course, your phone calls. We've got L.A., Tony, John, Tim, Paul, and others that want to talk to Harry Dent. You'll get a chance here in about 10 minutes. I fund this operation bringing you things that I really think are high quality, that we've done research into, that are low price, great values, like ProPure, G2 filters, stainless steel gravity fed, side-by-side comparisons in real lab tests by top firms, is the best value out there and cuts out the most garbage. Everybody should be filtering their water for cooking and for drinking with all the distillates and garbage that's in the water table, especially with fast-growing cells. If you have children, look at the cancer rates going up and things. So much of it's in the water. InfoWarsStore.com. All the water filters are 10% off promo code WATER. We always have that special. Okay? But in this month of January, free shipping on all the water filtration systems of ProPure. We have some other brands that are already so discounted we can't do that. But this is the best deal you'll get on high-quality gravity-fed systems, and your purchase, you can see it, goes right into this operation in defending every basic freedom and a Bill of Rights culture that's having an effect worldwide. So again, your investment supporting us has gotten high-quality products at good prices and funded hardcore promotion of truth and justice and freedom. Because it's ignorance that's going to let the establishment crony capitalist hold us over a barrel. So I want to thank you all for your support. Here's a great chance in the new year to get a huge discount at InfoWarsStore.com. We have up to 48% off on some of the InfoWarsLife.com products as a New Year's resolution in the resolution pack, Super Male or Super Female Vitality, and of course Secret 12, powerful proprietary organic vitamin B12, methylcobalamin. It's the type you inject, but this is taken in the mouth. Very absorbable, blows away the competition. And Oxy powder, great way to start the new year. 48% off. That special ends tomorrow. Officially ends today. We're going to pull it off tomorrow afternoon. InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. So you got basically 24 hours to act on that, and it supports the broadcast. A win-win-win-win. And scores of other great products, from Ancient Defense to Fluoride Shield to Lung Cleanse to super high-quality organic coffee. InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Going back to Mr. Dent, I want to give you the floor for the next 5-10 minutes before we go to calls and those questions. You've accurately, with these charts, with demographics, predicted so much that's happened. Tell us, past China, what else you're concerned about. Is it Germany and the EU? I don't understand these ideas out of the State Department. And I've had famous spies on, folks that are involved trying to destabilize Russia. They seem to believe that if we implode Russia and implode Asia, that somehow that makes our economy better. Sure, it makes people buy our bonds, but if there's no economy, how is that going to matter? From all the economics I've studied, when you have global problems and that then compounds our problems, is it good for select corporations is why they want destabilization? Or what's happening there?
Yeah, no, obviously it's not good for major countries, whether it be China, Russia, much of Europe, to implode. I mean, we all trade with each other. This is a global economy and has been increasingly for the last 100 years, really, for the first time to that extent in history. So it's not good. It can be good long term. You know, I mean, it's just like right now, Saudi Arabia wants oil prices to go down. They want to knock out the frackers. They want to knock out marginal oil producers like Venezuela, Iran, and Iraq. So it makes their market share better long term. That's what Rockefeller did in the early 1900s with Standard Oil. So yeah, it does benefit. Some of these challenges do benefit certain countries longer term or companies, but it is not good for the economy near term to have any major country go down. And you're right, we called Japan in 1988, 89. We said Japan is going to crash while the rest of the world sees the greatest boom in history in the 90s. Nobody saw that combination of events. A few people saw the boom of the 90s, very few, and nobody saw the collapse of Japan. We're saying the same thing about China. China's the next Japan. They've had a government-driven overinvestment thing, and they're going to collapse. But Germany, of all the countries in the world, in the next 8 years, from 2014 to 2022, has the steepest slide in demographic spending trends I have ever seen, ever. Worse than Japan in the 90s. Now, the world is looking to Germany to hold up the European Union, just as Greece, surprise, surprise, is looking at defaulting or renegotiating on their debt.
And replacing the Germans, just to interrupt, replacing the Germans with unskilled third world labor is not going to stop that demographic cliff.
No, it's not. Well, here, I mean, remember what I said earlier? It's the emerging world, which actually does have good demographic trends for coming decades, except for China. It's the emerging world that's getting crucified by the fall in commodity prices because most emerging countries are commodity producers and exporters. So the emerging markets, countries, are down 30%. And while we're hitting new highs in our stock market, and Germany's hitting new highs recently, so they're already underperforming. If the world implodes, they're gonna underperform even more because they're dependent on us. They are not nearly as wealthy as us. People don't realize China has 1/10 the dollar level standard of living we